My guest today is standing in her boldness, a scientist with experience both in academia as well as government. But first, I gotta let y'all know it's finally here. The week of the STEM Success Summit has finally come. You got a few more days to make sure you register to catch all the goodness, but I'm gonna talk about it soon on STEM Media Live. What's going on, fam? It's me. Welcome all to another STEM Media Live. In case you didn't know, this is the place where we chat with some of the most inspirational and creative people in the STEM community. I'm excited. I'm elated. I'm ecstatic. All those synonyms. Why? Because today is no exception. We have another phenomenal guest that I just can't wait to talk to. Someone who has a lot of great energy, have been doing amazing things across the STEM world. And we're going to bring her on and introduce her in just a second. But first, you know I have to talk about it because this is our last STEM Media Live before our annual flagship event. This is the event where we come together with thousands of people across the STEM space, across the STEM fields, right? We're going to be elevating and empower young professionals in STEM. In case you're wondering what I'm talking about, I am talking about nothing other than the STEM Success Summit. That's right. It is happening this week. The STEM Success Summit is kicking off this Wednesday, November 17th through the 20th, 2021. This is our third annual event, and we're doing it bigger and better than ever. So I'm coming to you right now live on a Sunday night, which means that you have Monday, Tuesday, and if you're not registered by Wednesday, then I promise you run the risk of missing out on some of the goodness. What goodness am I talking about, you might ask? Well, STEM It Forward is our theme. Yes, we realize that this has been a long year. Last year was a long year. There's been so much, but though it's been challenging for many, we all could use a little extra support as we get ready to head into 2022. So let's show each other and the world how strong our community truly is. This is our theme, and we encourage you with the STEM It Forward theme to check in on your peers, find ways to show acts of kindness, and sharing this STEM Success Summit to anyone that could use a boost of motivation. What are we doing this year? Well, check this out, y'all. We have the first ever STEM Success Awards, aka the STEAM Awards. We're going to be giving away awards for Scientists of the Year, Technologists of the Year, engineers, artists, mathematicians, educators. We want to make sure that we highlight the people in our community that are doing amazing things. Humanitarian of the Year. The way that you can vote, you may see some familiar faces on here. The way that you vote, though, is that you have to register. You have to go to 2021.stemsuccesssummit.com and you get into the platform so that you can vote for the person that you think should get each of these awards that we're going to be giving away this year. Not only that, but we have this special award called the STEM Avenger Award. Now, if you've been following us for a while, then you would know that the STEM Avengers is the nickname that we give ourselves, the planning team for the STEM Success Summit. And we're going to be giving away a special award of $500 to an honorary STEM Avenger, whoever creates a video, 1 minute or less, detailing an idea that they would like to put forth to impact education or diversity in STEM. That's right. We've already had a number of submissions. We've been sharing it on Instagram. But in order for you to enter, you can be considered for this award as well. All you have to do is post a video on either Instagram or Twitter, tag STEM Media, and then include the hashtag STEM Avengers or SSS 2021 to be considered for the STEM Avenger Award. And we're going to be giving this away on the last day of the summit, or the Friday, right? So that's going to be November 19th. And we're going to be giving away all of these awards. So I'm just encouraging you all to come to this website here, STEMSuccessSummit.com. Check out all the amazing things we have planned for you this week. But you cannot leave this website. In fact, you can't even leave this YouTube video. There's only one thing I'll allow you to use leave this YouTube video for, and that is to go to this website and make sure you register. So that's what I want to tell you all. You won't hear it again next week. Why? Because all the goodness would have passed. All the great value would have passed. So here's your chance to get in and get it while the getting is good. Cool? Cool. Are we getting some chats in the comments really quick? Let's see who we got. Stimulator said, yes, SSS 2021. We in here looking forward. Yeah, we're looking forward to you. Dr. Mook is actually also another person who entered into our STEM Avengers Award contest. So we look forward to seeing you, Dr. Mook. We look forward to seeing you if you're watching this live or on replay. So STEMSuccessSummit.com. Make sure you register. And guess what? It is all completely free. So you have no excuse. I'm going to see you there. And you know who else I'm going to see there? I'm going to see today's guest. Today's guest is gearing up for a presentation at the STEM Success Summit this year. And to get a little sneak peek of just how great, how dope she is, we decided to bring her on STEM Media Live tonight. Let me tell you a little bit about my good friend, Dr. Daphney Chery. She is a dedicated scientist, an educator, and a supportive mentor. And she is eager to gain and share knowledge. She is currently a AAAS Science and Technology Fellow, hosted at the Department of Defense Labor and Personnel Office. She holds degrees in biomedical engineering from the School of Biomedical Engineering, a PhD in that, actually. She also has an MS degree from the University of Medicine and Dentistry of New Jersey, which she got in 2012. And she also graduated from Drexel University in 2018. Daphney is also passionate, very passionate about STEM education. She's an activist that is committed to improving and increasing access to STEM education in diverse communities. She has received several awards from national and also statewide organizations for her work in the community. She also has a favorite pastime, and we'll leave it with this. Her favorite pastime is blogging, the daily life of being a Black woman scientist. And so, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we're going to bring on to our show tonight our guests as we present to some and introduce to others, my friend, Dr. Daphney Chery. Everyone give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up. There she is. Everybody, she's here. She's here. Dr. Chery is in the building. What up, Daphney?
Hey, I'm excited to be here. First off, your theme song, when you were starting it off, had me hyped.
Oh, the intro?
Yes, I'm over here moving my shoulders. Get it lit.
Hey, we might have to remix it one day and get you to do some moves on it too.
Right?
You know what I'm saying?
Get a little TikTok going.
Yeah. Welcome to STEM Media. Welcome to STEM Media Live. This is long overdue, but hey, you here now. We here.
Yes, and I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me. You have the heavy hitters on this show all the time.
Hey, I tell people
good company.
Listen, I tell people all the time, today is no exception. And I mean that. So we're going to kick things off as we typically do, Daphney. And we're going to ask you what we always do as our icebreaker question to give us a random fun fact about yourself. Of course, we're going to get into the STEM. We're going to get into the PhD, the academia, the policy, all of that. But you got to tell us something that we wouldn't expect to hear after reading that illustrious bio of yours. Give us that random fun fact.
I have two for you. I have two solid ones that if you're my friend, you would know this.
Okay.
The first one is I am obsessed with NBA basketball. Like I am the one to watch preseason games.
Yeah.
Full 82 game season, yelling at the
TV. Okay.
And people don't think that I would love it so much, but I grew up only girl, 5 brothers, so sports was huge in the crib. I can't play any sports, so I'm not messing up myself for no sports, but I like to watch it. And the second one would be I am the karaoke queen. I am self-proclaimed karaoke queen. Okay, I get it in.
So we gotta break these down. We gotta break both of these down. All right, we're gonna come back to the karaoke because that's interesting in of itself. But NBA basketball, I'm gonna guess. So you grew up in New Jersey, so you probably remember when the Nets were in New Jersey and not in Brooklyn. So are you a Nets fan? Are you a New Jersey Nets fan?
No.
You're not. What? You didn't like the home team?
I don't like the home team. So New Jersey Nets was just buns back then. They were buns. They wasn't the team everybody rooted for. So I'm originally born in Brooklyn. So New York Knicks was the team that I rooted for. Now that I'm older and don't follow what my brothers do, I, make my own choices. And my favorite player now is Stephen Curry. So I cheer for the Warriors. They're
So
currently
so you're not lying at all. You're an NBA fan. Like it's not
I'm an
even like
NBA
I'm
fan,
a
yes.
Nets fan because even the Nets are in Brooklyn now, and you born in
Yeah,
Brooklyn.
yeah, no, oh, no.
Oh, okay. Listen. I thought we were gonna have a moment because believe it or not, like I don't know if you remember when the Nets made it to the finals. Like Jason Kidd, like he
Jason
was my
Kidd, yeah.
favorite player in high school. Jason Kidd was my favorite player in high school. I
How
played
you like him now as
basketball.
a coach?
Yeah, exactly. So when they were New Jersey Nets, I actually rooted for them, even though they were buns, as you put it,
They
whatever that means.
were. They weren't the best. They weren't the
But I
best.
rooted for him. I rooted for him. But now you're a Stephen Curry fan, which
I love
that's
Steph,
just
but
to us. Yeah,
I like Steph, but I like players that play like him. Very small, unassuming.
yeah,
But like, and it's part of the cheering for the underdog type thing.
right,
I love so much. Like the unassuming person. Like you don't look at them and be like they're a physical athlete that's just gonna
right.
murder
They're not
the team.
imposing, not like imposing.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes. But they
Got
look
you.
regular. They look like us, and they're doing this phenomenal thing. So
Absolutely.
that's why I root for him so much. I also root for Damien too, because I think he's a little guard that's killing it too.
Well,
So
shout out to them. You calling out names. You're not naming the typical like your LeBrons or your KDs. You actually
no,
you actually know
no.
what you're talking about. Okay,
Sexuals, that's what I call them, the bronze sexuals that just think
right.
that they think
All
he
right.
doesn't
Yeah.
age and he just will always be around.
Listen, I don't know what's going on, but let's talk about this karaoke real quick. So, are you the Will Smith getting jiggy with it, or like the
No,
Escape? I get
no,
weak in the knee. Like, what type of karaoke we talking about here?
So the first song after I have a drink or two will be Mary J. Blige, I'm Going Down, right?
Okay.
And I made sure to let the audience know, thank you for coming to my concert tonight. I am here.
Got you.
And I'm married. I might go to Lauren. I might go to Beyonce.
You might go to Beyonce. Listen, you definitely hogging the mic if you got that many songs in your queue. Like you need to let somebody else sing. You need to pass the mic sometime.
I ain't trying to brag or nothing, but I did get somebody asked me for my autograph once.
Wow. Okay. Awesome. Karaoke is fun for sure.
It is.
And now I know who, if we ever do STEM karaoke, STEM Media ever does some kind of karaoke event, you got to hit up Dr. Chery. Yes. Y'all, this is Dr. Chery. See, Dr. Mook says that song gets me hyped too. We don't know which song we're on, but hey, he agrees. We got Dr. Chery in the building on STEM Media Live, and she just gave us two fun facts. She gave us a twofer. She's an NBA fan, even though she wasn't a huge New Jersey Nets fan growing up, which is where she lived. She likes the NBA.
I do.
And she is she hogs the mic on karaoke night. That's what I got from it, basically.
I put in like 4 tickets at a time.
Wow. Okay. Got you. Well, hey, let's get into your story a little bit. And I think I should say this off the bat. I should say bonsoir. Come on, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like talk about said Nabule, you know what I'm saying? What?
Nice.
Yeah.
Through and through.
Awesome. So I am Haitian by association, you know what I mean? My wife, I'm married to a Haitian. We got look. I never shared this with you. I was like, let me just share this with her on the live. So yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I got a little bit of I got a little something for Dia Jean, you know what I'm saying?
I was about to say you eat your D, eat your
come on. Listen. Yes, hey, listen. I'm sure she's probably watching right now. Know exactly. She's probably vibing with us as well through the screen.
Shout out to your wife. Haitian women are the best. Shout out to her. Okay.
I will have to. I think I have to agree. I have to agree with you. Yes. So let me ask you this. Tell the people, for they don't know, kind of your origin story, because I understand your parents came from Haiti. Give us a little bit about, your background.
Oh man, I think my background makes me exactly who I am. Because if you know anything about Haitian people, they are the most resilient folks. Like you throw anything at us, we're gonna find a way to survive it and survive it well. So my parents they didn't actually know each other in Haiti. They migrated to Brooklyn, New York in the 80s. They met here, they got married and had 4 kids. I just so happened to be their second one. They are very hardworking folks. They are my whys. Because growing up, I watched how hard they worked, blue collared type of jobs, just to make sure that we had the best education. Both of them did not go to college, but they made sure that we were in private schools. They made sure we had access that many students do not have, and to be able to make the decisions, our career decisions, that and all the opportunities that I have now. So that's my origin, man. And they also grew me up to love God.
Yeah.
Very important in everything that I do too. So
Absolutely.
I'm a Christian Scientist.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And I know that, they emphasize education for you,
Yes,
right?
yes.
You and your
There's a theme is l'église, l'école, la caille, right?
okay,
Church,
okay. Break that
school,
down.
and home. That's it.
That's good to remember, though. That's easy to remember right there. Got you. So you were in school, definitely. You said they were your whys. You're working hard to really, make their hard work pay off. And I think you almost was a straight A student, right? Almost.
Oh yeah. I wasn't almost. I was.
You were okay. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
College is when I, started getting B's and C's, because it was just outside a little bit.
Wait. So when did that? You said college is when.
College.
So, okay.
My first year of college I was on academic probation, first semester. I went from getting straight A's all through college, and all through high school, middle school, got to college, failed chemistry.
Wow.
1.8 GPA, academic probation.
That had to be like foreign, I guess, for like you and your parents to go from straight A's to like academic probation.
Well,
what was that like?
Great thing, and I tell students that all the time, the great thing for me back then was I was 18, so I didn't have to show my parents my grades, right?
Okay.
But for me, it was, you get that 1 month long break. So now I'm home, and my parents are asking me, like, let me see your grades. How are you doing? Because I was in a program that allowed me to start college the summer prior. So that summer, I came home with a 4.0, and I was, I showed them the 4.0, like, look what I did at college. I got A's, And as soon as I got to the semester started, the party started, happening. It wasn't because I wasn't smart enough. It wasn't because I didn't know the material, but my focus wasn't on doing well. My focus was on being outside and partying and having fun. I lacked all types of discipline. I definitely underestimated the effort that it takes to study and to do well in college versus high school. So 1.8 GPA. And it was a smack in my face. I almost left STEM then,
Man.
But I had to dig deep. I dug so deep back then. I remember going home being very depressed, crying. Like I was really close with my counselor. So I was telling her, like, maybe, because back then I wanted to go to medical school. So maybe a medical doctor isn't for me. And she was like, no, you need to reevaluate what gave you that F. Like, what were you doing to cause you to get that F? Were you really studying and putting in effort and just got the F? Or were you not disciplined? Did you not know how to critically think properly, right? To get through these classes? Were you even going to class? Sometimes we want to blame like the teacher. We want to blame the curriculum, and we don't want to look within ourselves to see why we didn't do well. So I came back in the spring. I took it over. Rutgers had this system where they allow you to completely replace the grade. They don't average it out. They replaced it.
Yeah.
So I replaced it with an A.
There we go. If you're going to replace it, you got to replace it right.
I replaced it with an A. I ended up minoring in chemistry and then teaching chemistry. The same professor who failed me ended up asking me to teach his course in the summertime, which is, it's kind of crazy. Right. And if I had given up, I wouldn't have been able to be where I am.
That's a comeback story for you, for sure.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have been there to teach it. And what's interesting about that, just to go back, and hey, really quick, shout out to our viewer that did a little donation. You must have touched him with that story. So shout out to our viewer with the donation. Definitely is touching hearts, pulling generosity out of individuals today with her story.
I'm gonna keep donating.
AK, thank you. I apologize for the pronunciation, but we really appreciate your donation. But check this out, right? What I've heard about your story is that you were inspired by a Black woman teacher in middle
Yes,
school,
yes, I was.
and you eventually became a Black woman teacher
Yes,
after overcoming this hurdle. Talk
yes.
a little bit about that dynamic. I guess where the why or how you got inspired, and then what it felt like to eventually become sort of her in the lives of some other students.
Yeah, so 7th grade, I will never forget
Yeah.
Miss McLaughlin, 7th grade math teacher. I till this day, that was the only Black woman or man that's ever taught me a science, technology,
To this day?
to this day, engineering, mathematics
Wow.
course ever. So there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, guys. And we all need to put in the effort to be that face for someone that looked like us growing up. She just made math fun, man. I remember walking into her class and I was a teacher's pet because I just loved being in the classroom with her. She made it so much fun. She made it so easy. The way she broke down her concepts, the way she intertwined real life concepts within it. She used to come in and with the Nerf guns, and if you got the answer wrong, she would shoot you with the Nerf gun. And she was just full of life. You could tell she truly enjoyed educating. And I looked at her like, wow, I aspired for this. Yeah, yeah. And throughout my life, I did have other Black woman mentors, but they weren't necessarily teachers or professors. I had a guidance counselor, one of the dean of my students. She's my mentor now. She's a Black woman, of course, but that was the only Black STEM teacher professor I've ever had in my long academic career.
In your long academic life.
Long academic.
Right. Like you didn't just do 4 years, 4 and out. Like you spent some time and
because of that, like when I teach, I try to kind of like have the same type of like relationship with my students. I try to keep it real down to earth. I don't know if you know this, but when I was doing my PhD, Camden, there was a charter school in Camden that asked me to come in to revamp their chemistry curriculum. And I used to go in there and teach them these concepts using like real live things that are happening around us. So I was teaching them electronegativity and they could not understand this concept. And I'm like, you know how like Trey Songz calls himself Mr. Steal Your Girl, right?
Oh,
The probability of him stealing your girl is high. That's the same thing with electronegativity.
Right.
An atom that has a high probability of stealing electrons has high electronegativity. Mr. Steal Your Electron. And when the test came out and they wrote that definition out and I posted it on my social media, it went berserk. Berserk. I'm talking about Shade Room picked it up and Ball Alert and Yahoo.
Oh wow, yeah.
Trey Songz. Like what?
Trey Songz, it caught wind of it. Trey Songz
caught wind of it. Yeah.
Wow.
It was awesome, but that's kind of like how I like to teach.
Right.
Like science, because I feel like, especially in the young formative years, this is the time of years that you really need to like hone in and make it enjoyable for them. Because if you make it fun for them, like a 7, 8, 9, or even high school, they're gonna want to like pursue it further.
Right. Like you, exactly, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's research that backs that up too. Like I was a part of a program, I think that was hosted at Purdue University, and they were talking about algebra by 7th grade. And how like if you can get a child really like into algebra and really begin to learn that by 7th grade, then as you just pointed out, the whole trajectory of their academic life and even career can be changed at that point. And the fact that you didn't have another teacher like that, period, at all, but yet you're this deep in STEM, is really testament to that 7th grade, that year, that formative time in life really does make an impact on you.
And how many people you meet tell you like, oh man, I hate science, or oh man, I hate. I'm like, I love telling them like, no, you don't hate it.
Yeah,
you were never taught it in a way to make you love it, and that's simply what it is. We need to have more teachers who are in tune to the students too, who could speak their language and who could relate it to their everyday life and make it fun. Make it fun. I'm all about having fun, for real.
Right. Definitely. Hey, well, this is why we have her, y'all, right here on STEM Media Live. Because she likes having fun. That's why she's gonna be a part of the STEM Success Summit.
I am. I'm excited about that.
If y'all haven't gone, here is the website right now. Take you directly to get your free ticket. And listen, I'm not gonna guarantee, Daphney, that it's gonna be free forever. So if they want to come get some of this good information, they better take advantage of this third annual event.
Agreed.
It's gonna be so many people bringing value, including Dr. Chery. And let me ask you this, Daphney, when it comes to, like, again, the length at which you went into academia. You said you at one point wanted to be a medical doctor, but then you changed that. But then you still kind of went the distance, right? Because you did a master's, you did a PhD, and I know I did the exact same thing, right? And then you did a postdoc.
Yeah.
When did you decide to when did you decide that, like, hey, I want to spend all this time in school? Like, when was that decision made?
I mean, I always knew I was going to be a lifelong learner since I was a kid. I used to get out of doing chores because I was reading a book. Like, my mom will scream at me to go wash the dishes, but then she'll find me in the corner reading. And how you going to tell a kid to not read and go wash? I'm trying to give y'all ideas, the younger folks.
Right. That's the way you get out of dishes. You know what I'm saying?
Open up a book, right? There was a lot of different points in my journey that caused me to pivot. I think coming from a Haitian household, you were told that you are either a lawyer, an engineer, a doctor, or you're a degenerate. Like, you're not doing anything with your life, right? So because I grew up doing so well in the sciences, I always thought the only career option for me was to be a medical doctor. So I went through with the whole process, like I took the classes that I had to take. I took the MCATs. I did well. I applied. I got in. And it was right before I was supposed to start where I sat down and I was like, look, it's no way I'm doing this.
Oh, you changed your mind right before going to med school?
Right before starting medical school.
Oh, okay.
That's why I have the master's. Because honestly, getting a PhD, you don't need a master's.
Right. You can go straight into it. Yeah.
Exactly. But it was kind of like my parents was like, well, it's either you get a job or you continue on with school if you're not going to. And, my mom being so sad, like, oh, I almost had a doctor daughter, are you sure? I'm like, I meet medical students all the time, and that's not what I want. Granted, I wish I met some PhD students too.
You'd be like, do I want that though? Is that much better? I don't know. I feel you.
But I think the biggest difference was, their schooling for the most part was in the books, right? You're reading, you're memorizing, you're regurgitating. But with the PhD, it was hands-on. Like, you could literally solve a question in the lab one day, come in the next day and try to solve another question. Now, I didn't know about the redundancy of it, or the longevity of time it takes, because it definitely takes a long time.
That perseverance.
School,
that perseverance.
I wouldn't trade it because it was the best way for me to merge my analytical brain, my love for math, my love for engineering with my love for sciences too. So when I discovered biomedical engineering, I jumped right in. I was like, wow, I could still kind of be in the medical field,
right?
But still be using my math skills too and learning how to code. This is dope.
Yeah. And listen,
I jumped right in.
we gotta let you get in your bag just a little bit real quick, because for those who don't know, Dr. Chery, she knows her stuff, right? Like, she knows she's been in the lab, she's put in time, and if I'm not mistaken, I think you did a research. Your research was, and I'm gonna make sure I can get this right. It focused on understanding the micromechanical environment of a specific disorder in which muscle and connective tissue are gradually replaced by bone, right?
Yes. So that was my postdoc work.
That was your postdoc, okay.
Yes. In graduate school, I mostly focused on the micromechanical environment of our knee cartilage. So many people don't know is that once you lose cartilage, it never grows back. So how you cut your hair, your hair regenerates, it grows back. But cartilage, you lose it, that is a forever thing. You will never get cartilage back. But why? Because we know that as kids, right? Young kids, if they have injury to their cartilage, it regenerates. But somewhere along the lines, when you become an adolescent, a young adult, when you have these injuries, whether it's you're an athlete, whether it's you're just running down a hall and you trip and you kind of like, tear your meniscus, or, you rupture your ACL, whatever it may be, your cartilage starts degenerating and it never, ever regenerates again. Now, you do hear about athletes going to get stem cell ejections and stuff. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I spent 6 years trying to figure out what is so different about the micromechanical environment of adult cartilage versus children cartilage, and how can we get this bridge back together so that adult cartilage could regenerate the same way that children cartilage do. So that was 6 years of
that. Well, I just want to connect that to your love for the NBA too, because that is
exactly
yeah. Like I saw that. Like that's a very, very common injury, the meniscus.
Yes.
When it comes to athletes, in particular basketball athletes, because they're doing all this jumping, and just running.
They're the main ones. So I studied post-traumatic osteoarthritis, which affects that population the most, because they're the ones that are jumping around and running, and they're the ones that need to heal quicker too, because they want to get back to the game. But really, there's like no real solution to regenerate your cartilage. Although I think that I finally found some sort of mechanistic way by the time I graduated, but I didn't continue to work. So hopefully somebody
you did one of those, because I know how it goes, right? This is what happens, y'all. When you're defending your dissertation, you start talking about future work, and we all know you talking about somebody else gonna do that. You're not gonna stay and do that work. But you saying like what we could look at is, and you don't mean we. By we, I mean y'all. After I get my degree. So you saying you discovered you were right on the edge of something, but you were ready to go. You were like, hey.
We actually did find a mechanistic where in the pathway that the change occurs. So if you find a way to reverse that change, then we should be Gucci. But again, that's not my ministry right now.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody else can get a PhD off of that. You know what I'm saying?
You can't go read my papers. They online, honey.
I'm saying you can't be selfish and hog all of this. You know what I'm saying? Research. You gotta let somebody else get some PhDs and degrees off of it, right?
Yeah, but my postdoc work was amazing. I mean, granted, the disease in itself is heartbreaking, but to be able to that was my first time working directly with patients too. So directly seeing bench science go into the hospital. That was my first time. So this disease is called FOP. And what happened is, let's say you injure yourself, right? And instead of muscle healing into muscle or fat healing into fat, there's a misfire that occurs genetically. It's a genetic disorder. So instead of that, it is replaced with bone. And over time, your whole body can ossify. So this is a genetic disorder that occurs at birth. Adults don't just, naturally get this disorder. This occurs at birth.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking because these children, they don't live long, or they have to live in a bubble. And sometimes it's not due to injury. Sometimes you could just have a random misfire of your genes, and that occurs. So,
wow.
But UPenn is doing amazing research on
That's where you were with your postdoc, right? University of Pennsylvania? Okay.
Yes. They're doing amazing research. They work very closely with CHOP, the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. And it's awesome. It was kind of hard leaving UPenn. It was really, really hard leaving UPenn because my UPenn experience was drastically different from my PhD experience. But it's also something I knew I had to do based on my experiences. So.
Right. Yo, this is Daphney Chery, Dr. Daphney Chery. She holds a lot of degrees. She, for some reason, loves staying in academia because she was just in the lab doing her thing for several years. But here's where we're going now, Daphney, because I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe 2020, about a year ago, where you decided to take your talents to another sector outside of academia as a scientist.
Yes.
Tell us about that transition.
Oh, man. So throughout my whole studies, my PhD studies and my postdoc, I've always been like foot to the ground in the community, right? I was big on that. I had certain fellowships that allowed me to be in the inner city schools in Philadelphia, basically teaching students engineering concepts. And I remember one time walking into an all-girls high school in Philadelphia, and I asked them, can anybody tell me what an engineer is? And all of them were saying a janitor, a janitor, a janitor,
Wow.
because that's what they're used to seeing, sanitation engineers, right? And I'm like, okay, yes, but there's so many other things engineers do. There's so many different types of engineers. And I remember like having to break that down to them and watching the light bulb go off in their eyes. And then feeling like, why is it that certain communities have so much access to education, to knowledge, and then other communities don't? And what is being done to solve this issue? So I knew I not only wanted to look into the K-12 type of federal policies that were going on, but I also wanted to dabble a bit in, 12 and beyond, or like when you get to college and beyond, the PhD world, the postdoc route. What is the federal government doing for those who are coming from underserved communities, who are, just underrepresented, right? Like
Right.
there's so many times that I'm the only one in the room, and or if I know someone else in the room that look like me, she wants or he wants to leave the program because she or he doesn't feel supported. Why is that? So I knew I wanted to change. Like I wanted to change. I wanted to have maximal impact, and I felt like being in academia, it would be a slow grind in terms of impact in that field, which I think is still very important. It is very, like I said, for college students to see professors that look like them, for sure, to do research with PIs that look like them, for sure. But I knew that a part of me would have to concentrate so much on the research that I wouldn't even have the opportunity to mentor or to make the type of change that I wanted to do. So I started talking, and that's one of the things I always tell people they should do is talk. First off, people love talking about themselves.
That's true.
People love talking about themselves. So if you ever need to, I don't know more about an occupation, or know more about a degree that you may want to do, or what type of job you want to have, whatever it is, ask somebody that's doing it. That's it. Just be like, hey, how did you get into XYZ? People love talking about themselves. You don't even have to introduce yourself. You'll hear their whole entire story.
Right.
And that's kind of what I started doing. I started meeting different people and asking them questions. And one of my girlfriends at the time over at UPenn was the first time I had a colleague who had a PhD and was a Black woman in the same field as me. Shout out to Brittany. She's a professor now down in Florida. She is killing it, tenure track.
Doing your thing, Brittany. Shout out to you.
She is killing it. But she was very pivotal, because I came in, I started talking to her, telling her the type of things I wanted to do. And she was like, I know it's difficult for you to kind of go from being this analytical thinker in research into policy, like it's not very accepting, that transition, but there's a fellowship that helps with it. I said, oh, I'm game. Tell me about it. Tell me more.
Right. And for people who don't know, by the way, a fellowship is a program where you get basically paid to do work, right?
You get paid to do, basically, it's like it's a professional development fellowship.
Yeah.
And this is one of the fellowships that pay very well, y'all.
Yes, it is.
Not gonna hold y'all. You go from a postdoc who is making 50-something thousand according to NIH, even though you have a doctorate, to a AAAS fellow where you are sniffing and smelling six figures. Okay, it is very profitable, and they need us. They need people who look like us in the AAAS fellowship, who are going through this professional development, learning about the processes within the federal government, how policies are formed, how they figure out who to give grant money to, how these funding opportunities come, how these fellowships in these universities that people are vying for, how do they get them? They need people like us coming up with these ideas, telling them what the criteria should be, know? And that was one of the biggest things I learned since starting this fellowship, is that they need us. They really do. Because I meet a lot of different people in the policy world who have no experience in the process trying to make these rules and these regulations for us. And I'm like,
it's interesting, right? So you took the fellowship, moved to DC, AAAS, but I want to touch on the fact that you said they need us, because I feel like, there is a big need for us, people like you and I, who have this cultural background, that have this, ethnic background that we can actually add to the conversation in a very meaningful way. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, going through the process to where you have gotten to is filled with a lot of like darts and mosquitoes of microaggression, if you will, right? Right. There's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of like things that sometimes can kind of weigh on your psyche to where you have to um, stand on your boldness, right? Stand
yeah,
on your boldness.
yeah.
So, can you maybe, before you even get into again deeper into your role currently now, what did you have to kind of go through to get to the point to where you're saying, all right, they need us, they need me, they're people who can benefit from my presence. So this is what I am going to push through, right? When it comes to the different aspects of what we have to deal with.
Me personally, I had to get to a point where I was simply fed up,
Mm-hmm.
like tired completely of the treatment that I was getting in academia. And one of the things that was jarring to me was I thought leaving academia and going into policy, I was leaving all the microaggressions behind. It might be worse.
Still there. Oh
It
man.
might be worse in policy.
Mm.
My first year was an eye opener for me because I was, getting mentored by a woman who looked like me just for her to be my biggest microaggressor.
Wow.
So but the work that I've already done prior to build my confidence, to know who I am and what I stand on, to believe in my intelligence and what I bring to the table, to know that I have value in this field, is what pushed me through to get through this past year just in policy dealing with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say you got to stand in your boldness. You got to stand in exactly who you are. Period. You got to know exactly who you are and be authentically yourself and stand in your boldness. I am very, very big on that. Very, very
Yeah.
big on that. Very,
Yeah.
yeah.
You are, and I can attest just from your online presence on social media. You're not ashamed of who you are. You're an unapologetic self, right?
Mhm.
And you know your stuff. Y'all heard her, right? You heard her break down the research that she was doing, and really, it takes boldness to not let the comments like, oh, you don't act black, or
Yeah,
you don't dress this
yeah.
way, or you talk why, those type of little subtle things not get to you, right? Because there's imposter syndrome, and then it's compounded even by comments like that can cause you
Mhm.
to really question if this is even for you. But your boldness push you through
It
as a
does.
black woman scientist in STEM, well educated, and now you are a scientist in a world of policymakers where a lot of people don't have that same technical
No,
background, right?
no.
So there's an additional boldness that you've had to
Have there.
develop and carry with yourself so far. So talk a little bit about that as a pure scientist coming from a pure science
Mhm.
background in a world where politics rules the day.
It does. But there they need the technical mind in the field.
Hmm. Hmm.
And as you continue on with the fellowship, you'll see that many people do value what you have to say because they understand that not only have you gone through the experience, but because of that, you have an analytical brain and you can come to them and tell them, like, look, this makes sense. This does not make sense. This will work. This will not work. And this is why. And as scientists, that's the biggest thing, right? We could we could give a hypothesis all day. We could give a theory all day, but we need to be able to defend it and prove it, right?
Hmm.
And a
Hmm.
lot of people have opinions and can't back it up with facts. Right? But coming into that space as a well-trained scientist, you are able to come and not only say, hey, we need to do XYZ for this certain population in this community, and
Hmm.
this is why. And this is
Right.
how it'll affect them. And this is why the way we've been doing it has not been working, you know?
Right.
Um, but back to standing in your bonus, I like to really when I say it to myself, I say it in French, right? Because
Okay.
it says "autre audacieux," right? And the direct translation of that is have audacity.
Come
Be
on now.
audacious. I always like have the audacity to stand up and be like, look, this is what
Yeah.
it is. Right? You know what I'm saying? One of the things that back at UPenn was they were trying to put this outreach event together, and they want to grab students who already have the means. They've been to science camps. They have parents who are scientists.
Right.
That's not who we want to.
They're already exposed fully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the audacity, right, to stand up and say, look, this is not beneficial to them. They already know what a pipette is. They know how to use a pipette. That's not beneficial. Have the audacity. Have the audacity. Even in the policy world, when I found out that there is no HBCUs, none, that are R1 Carnegie Mellon institution. Now, what does that mean? R1 means you have very high intensive research being done at your university. There's 131 HBCUs or something like that?
I had no idea of that. Right. I did not know, because that comes out a lot, right? When you're thinking about going into faculty jobs like tier 1, R1 institutions, R2. You mean to tell me there's no HBCU?
None.
That's tier 1.
And there's only 11 that are R2.
Wow.
That's it.
So 10%, only 1 out of 10, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So when that fact came in front of me, I had to have the audacity to say, why is this occurring? So I want to see the numbers. How many grants are they getting? Are they applying to these grants? Why are they not being chosen? Why is a Harvard applicant getting this money from the federal government, but a Morgan University isn't?
Right.
What evaluators are looking at these? You have to have balls.
You have to.
You really.
Right. You can't just or it's going to continue as it always been, right? It takes intentionality. It takes boldness to change the status quo, and that's what you're doing. Yeah. And your initiative.
And tell someone like this is problematic, and do you not see how these numbers don't make no sense?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. What is the human error on our end?
Right.
It's one thing for you to say that they don't have the research capacity. Cool. But what is the error on our end? Because you see the push that's been going on just nationwide. Everyone's donating money to HBCUs. Everyone. Like the NBA just did, it always go back to basketball for me, right? But you remember the All-Star game?
Right.
Yeah.
HBCUs, they were focusing on
Yes. People were playing for HBCUs. They were throwing large amount of money towards HBCUs. How is that being utilized? And how is that a factor when they come up to the board to become an R1 institution? Like, how is that not happening? Although I did hear that Morgan State is on the brim of becoming one. That'd be awesome.
Okay. Shout out to Morgan Bears.
Yeah. But it's problematic. It is really problematic. And
for sure. And your initiative specifically too is on bringing up the STEM departments, the STEM programs at HBCUs and minority serving institutions. Right.
They work directly in strengthening the capacity of these institutions. Now that's whether it's internships for the students, bringing them into the DoD, having them work with different scientists there, whether it's equipment grant to, build the capacity, whether it's a research grant, whether it's a faculty fellowship, bringing them in and having them mentored by other professors at R1 institution, getting cooperative agreements going on with R1 institutions that are close to an HBCU so they could collaborate and do projects. All of that falls into the mix. But even so, when you look at the numbers, I believe HBCUs receive less than 1% of federal funding that goes out to all institutions. Yeah. So there's still a great need.
Yes, absolutely.
Huge need. Yeah.
Wow. Hey, if y'all are enjoying this, please make sure you drop fire, some kind of emoji in the chat. This is Dr. Daphney Chery, who was doing the work in DC now. She left the lab. Now she's doing it, on the Hill, right? Making some difference, some changes when it comes to our policy, right? And this has been fantastic. I feel like the time is just like super
ran away.
We just started like a few minutes ago, but we're glad y'all are hanging out with us. Stimulator with the fire emojis coming through. Yeah. Well, Daphney, tell people kind of like, what they could do if they want to follow you, because you have a pretty, established personal brand out here in these social media streets too. So let people know how they can follow you.
So you can definitely find my Instagram is actually in my name bar right there. So you can follow me on Instagram at_Dr. Chery. I'm on Twitter, not too active on Twitter, but when something bothers me and I feel like the community that follows me, which is majority white,
Okay.
from like my academic world, when something occurs and I feel like I need to know, that's when you'll see me on Twitter acting up. And that's under what is that? Daphney Chery 6 on Twitter. I'm also on LinkedIn, and you can just find me. You can just Google my name, you'll find me. I have a website.
Google
also.
me. Y'all heard her. She said, Google me. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here. I'm out here. You know what I'm saying? I wrote a couple of papers. They can go on Google Scholar, right? If they want to cite you, if they want to cite you in their next publication, they can do that too, right?
Yep, they can. They absolutely can.
Awesome. And hey, y'all, in case you want to hear another awesome presentation, really a presentation, what are you going to be talking about at the summit, right? Because you're going to be presenting at our upcoming STEM Success Summit.
Yes. I'm going to be telling everyone how to build an authentic career in STEM. 6 steps to blazing your path in STEM that is unique for you and you alone.
Yes. I actually recommended your workshop specifically to a person who emailed me, a student who emailed me the other day. I was like, listen, you need to sign up for the summit. You need to check out Dr. Chery's workshop, because I think this is going to be the one for you. So I'm just really excited. And if y'all haven't done it, y'all need to be like Dr. Mook here and get the ticks. Get the ticks. SSS 2021. Yes. This has been a great conversation. I've really been enjoying this a whole lot. And I just want to come down to the end and really get some advice from you, right? Because you have experience in other things. We were talking about microaggressions, right? And I know you've had stories you've talked about in the past where you've had like things directly said to you, right? That have been like, it's completely out of line, right? But yet and still, you're still here. So why don't you give us a few nuggets of wisdom, if you don't mind, for that person who could be in the journey. They see your story. They just followed you on LinkedIn. It's like, she made it. She's out here. I just need a little bit of what she got so I can continue to stand in my boldness. What would you say to that individual?
I would say, and I know it's going to sound very cliche, but hear me out, right? My journey, you'll see that I pivoted a lot in my journey. And the reason I pivoted a lot in the journey, because I always wanted to make sure that the dream and the goal that I was going after was my dream and my goal. Meaning I could have easily have gone over to medical school, but it would have been following what my parents wanted me to do. I could have easily stayed in academia, but I would have been doing what everyone told me that my skill sets were at. So my advice to you is to always, always follow the passion and the goal that is yours and yours alone. Close out the outside noise and listen to what the internal you want to do. And that's what you pursue. Period.
She said it. She said, period, y'all. Y'all heard it. Period. Man, I tell you, you have been a fantastic guest. And I don't know why it took so long, but
but I'm excited it happened when it was supposed to happen.
It happened when it was supposed to. Absolutely. Absolutely. You came on. You set it on fire. I agree. Excited for your workshop. Excited to just continue to follow your journey. And I know this won't be the last time. We integrate, we collaborate, we have you on the platform, whole nine. But last question. Who you got this year? Who you think gonna take the championship this year? Who's gonna get the ring?
I don't see my boys. You don't see what Steph been doing.
Oh, okay. I see them. You think they got it? You think they're gonna go all the way?
I hope so. You look at me scratching my neck like a little crackhead.
I know.
Hype.
You got any more of them championship rings?
Any more? We like a little bit more. What they won, like what, 11 games so far?
Yeah, they've been balling. Steph is out of control, man. He doesn't even have to look anymore. He just throw the ball up and it goes in.
They don't even have Clay yet, because Clay been going with a first an ACL injury that I was very well versed on.
Hey, he need to go check out some Dr. Chery research real quick.
Right.
Yeah, I can figure out some things.
But if it's not him, I wouldn't mind seeing Giannis win another Right.
Oh man, Giannis is a great dude. Even though I was rooting for the Suns last year, Chris Paul. I'm a Chris Paul fan.
Oh man, no need. It's
You don't like Chris Paul?
friends,
no. Are you serious? You don't like Chris Paul?
No.
We gotta take this offline. Y'all don't want to hear a basket. This isn't first take, but we're gonna have to.
I knew you was gonna say CP3, man. I felt that in my soul. Nah.
Listen, man, he's doing great work. He supports STEM. You know what I mean?
He does. And he supports HBCUs.
Absolutely. So we can come together on something there. HBCUs. As our guest today. Daphney, thank you for taking the time this evening. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Sharing so much. I feel like I got a whole nother hour I could ask you questions, but we're not gonna take too much of your time this evening. And all the best to you, and we'll see you later this week.
Thank you. I'm excited, and thanks for having me.
All right, take care.
Bye.
All right, fam. I hope y'all enjoyed that conversation I had with Dr. Chery. Shout out to her again for coming on STEM Media Live. And hey, this is the last one before our STEM Success Summit. So make sure you go get your tickets. I'm gonna put this right here on the screen one more time for you. This will take you directly to get your ticket to come and attend over 30 plus webinars from everything from personal branding to healthcare and medicine to getting funding for your research, entrepreneurship, anything you can think of to bring about success in your career. And hey, we are going to continue doing what we're doing here on STEM Media Live. That's right. Continuing to elevate and empower your STEM experience. So until next time, you all stay up, and I will see you in the winner's circle. Take care. Peace.